To create a clean French smile line, you don't necessarily need a form or a dual form. Let me show you how this can be done with Gelix instead. As always, I start with proper manicure and nail prep. I then select the correct Gelix tip size, making sure it fits the natural nail without pressure. Then I mat the inside of the tip to improve adhesion. The inside of the tip is matted to improve adhesion and durability. Before attaching it, I shape the tip. Since I didn't have an almond tip available, I reshaped a ballerina tip into an almond. I apply a thin layer of base inside the tip to create a smooth surface. Then I place the main amount closer to the cuticle area for better control and a clean seal. I place the tip at a 45-degree angle, lower it slowly, and cure once the gel spreads evenly. Removing the tip line and blending it seamlessly into the natural nail is essential. I lightly mat the surface of the tip using a buffer. Then I apply a thin layer of base and cure it. I place the needed amount of polygel in the center, slightly closer to the cuticle. Using an orange wood stick, I gently apply pressure to guide the product evenly to both sides. Pay close attention here. If you don't press the polygel out from the sides, it will trap air. This isn't optional. This is how polygel behaves. Polygel should be 0 at the cuticle area and in the side sinuses. Always. So the very first thing I do is hold my orange wood stick at about a 45-degree angle and push the product at the cuticle down to 0. Now I switch to a brush, preferably a larger one, since it helps me work faster. I smooth and clean the cuticle area first, making sure everything is even. Then, with gentle pressure, I pull the product toward the free edge, shaping the smile line at the same time. From the side view, you can see that the apex is built closer to the cuticle. With a very soft, gradual slope, the cleaner and more precise your product placement is, the easier and faster your filing will be later on. From the top view, I check the smile line using the tip of my brush. Once everything looks clean and balanced, I cure it. I thoroughly cleanse the surface to remove the gel's sticky layer. Now I use a coarse hand file, 100 grit, and I prefer a thin one like this. This is what I use to file the smile line. Pay close attention here. The file must be held at a 90-degree angle, straight and perpendicular to the nail. Even a slight tilt will make the smile line uneven. Now we move on to filing the structure. I always start with the center first. Notice how I keep the file flat against the surface, working in a straight line that stays parallel to the nail's central axis and sidewalls. Now I move on to the sides. I file downward, keeping my movements controlled. Pay attention here. We're sharpening the walls of the smile line. Be careful not to overfile and remove the growth points, which are exactly where the smile line begins. Then, very gently, I smooth the surface using light, circular motions. Once you've achieved a clean, sharp and most importantly symmetrical line, it's time to move on to the French design. To clearly show the French line, I use a dark gel polish to color the wall I created. This step is completely optional. You can use any color you like, even lighter shades. Just keep in mind that if the smile line isn't clean, darker colors will reveal every imperfection in the final result. Don't worry if the color goes over the surface. It will be removed during the final filing. Before curing, I lightly blend a small amount of the same color over the French area. Then I cure it. I'm using a blue builder gel here. Pay attention to your color choices in a French design. They should complement each other and work well together. I'm not covering the entire French with the blue builder gel. I focus on fully covering the smile line points. That amount is enough. From there, I lightly blend it using an ombre brush. Then I cure it. Here I'm using a glitter gel for just a few accent areas. You can also use a glitter gel polish if you prefer. I add a few shell flakes, placing them directly onto the wet glitter gel, followed by a small amount of quartz flakes. I think a few gold foil flakes would look nice as well, but for me, this is enough. I don't want to overdo it. I cure for 60 seconds. I like to loosely fill in between the design elements using white and blue vitriol gel, keeping the look very irregular. In this case, I don't actually have vitriol gels in these colors, so instead, I mix a small amount of clear gel with this gel polish. That's how I create my own vitriol style gel. I cure for 60 seconds. Now it's time to cover the surface of the French design. You can use a clear builder gel, or even a clear rubber base for this step. It's often better to do this in 2 steps, one pass on the right side and one on the left. Halfway through, flip the hand over to prevent the product from flooding. I cure for 60 seconds. Before that, I cleanse the surface with cleanser. The first step in filing is the sidewalls. There may be a bit of gel overflow, but don't worry, it can be easily removed from the skin with the file. Now I use an e-file to refine the surface of the nail. I reduce the bulk of the product until the smile line appears clean and well-defined. Some nail techs consider this the final step and finish the nail using only the e-file. I don't agree with that. I prefer to do my final filing with a hand file. With a hand file, it's easier for me to smooth the surface using soft, circular motions. With an almond shape, the slimmer the edges are, the more elegant the result looks. At this stage, I focus on tightening the tip, filing the edges downward. I clean up the free edge and even shorten the length slightly. I finish with a buffer for the final polish, and that's it. I applied top coat, and here's the final result. If you want to master fast, clean French designs with minimal filing, make sure to check out my French nail extension playlist using dual forms. Let me know what you think about this video in the comments.